Oh, it's that time again, y'all. It's almost Christmas. You know what that means? We gotta name the games of the year that you want to pick up for your Christmas gifts. Let's hit it. So every year, I'm always on the hunt for new Switch games, and this year we actually got some pretty good games from the Nintendo Switch. So this year, I'm gonna go over all of the games that I would pick for Christmas gifts this year if I was to buy for somebody else. The first game on our list has got to be Pokemon Scarlet or Violet. They're pretty much the same games, but in order for you to get these games, you have to know the one disclaimer: these games are glitchy as all get out. They're an internet meme. It's kind of ridiculous, but these games are great. I'm having a good time playing these games with my wife. They're a lot of fun. I think your kids or your spouse or your loved ones will enjoy them too. The next game on our list has got to be Sonic Frontiers. Oddly enough, I'm not a big Sonic guy, but this year I was like, I really want to try this game. It looks pretty decent. And it shook up the Sonic formula in a good way, I think. I think they're putting their foot forward in a positive manner, and I think this game was a lot of fun. It's open world, a lot like Breath of the Wild was back when the Switch first launched. So I would consider picking that game up if you are looking for a new game this year. The next game on our list is Fire Emblem Three Hopes. If you played Fire Emblem Three Houses, you'll be familiar with a lot of the storylines in this, but it shakes the game up in that it's a Hyrule Warriors style of gameplay. So instead of being the top-down strategy game, you're looking more at like a first-person's perspective, fighting the mobs in the battle. It's a lot of fun. I like the storylines almost, I want to say, a little bit more than Three Houses. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but these games are really good. I would recommend picking this one up for your loved ones this season too. The next game on our list is probably my favorite Pokemon game of the year, and that would be Pokemon Legends Arceus. Now, Legends Arceus came out in February, so it came out almost last year, but these games are great. I think if you're looking for a game that's less glitchy than Pokemon Scarlet or Violet, but you still want the Pokemon experience, I think these games are fantastic and will definitely hold your loved one's attention for hours and hours on end. The next game I would recommend is Xenoblade 3. Now, I'll be very honest, I knew nothing about Xenoblade before this year started, but we got a Pokemon Direct early on in the year, and I saw the trailer for Xenoblade 3, and I was like, I've got to play the rest of them before this game comes out. All three of the Xenoblade games are great. So you have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. It's out for the Switch, and it's fantastic. I completed it. You have Xenoblade 2, which I haven't completed yet, but I'm about 15 to 20 hours in, and so far it's really good. And then you have Xenoblade 3, which I also have completed this year. Fantastic. It may be a little bit mature if you have a younger kid or something like that. So do be knowledgeable about what games you're picking for your kids. But if you're an adult or a teenager, or you're buying for one of the people in that age group, I think these games are fantastic and will really stretch what the Switch can do as a console. The next game on my list has got to be Hades. Hades is actually a budget pick for my list, and it was on a lot of people's list last year, and it's still on my list this year. It didn't come out this year, but it's a relatively new game. The game is fantastic. It's a roguelike. You play as the son of Hades, who's trying to escape the underworld to go and see his mother. And your father, Hades, is not a fan of that course of action, so he's going to send every bit of enemies that he has at his I can't talk today. Every bit of enemies under his control at you to prevent that from happening. It's a lot of fun. That game is a blast to play through. It's a challenge, So do be prepared for that, but I cannot recommend that game highly enough. That game is fantastic. The next game on my list is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Now, if you don't know anything about this game, I bought this game for 15 bucks. It's a budget pick as well. This game is fantastic. It's a lot like the 1980s beat 'em up side scroller type games, and you can play as any of the Ninja Turtles. You can play as Master Splinter. You can play as any of their friends. It's a load of fun. I've played this with my friends at my house with 7-player co-op where chaos happens. It's nuts. It's fantastic. You can play on the line with other players. There is no end to the fun that can be had with this game. I think it's a great pick for any younger audience that's just kind of going out to have a good time. This game is fantastic. I can't recommend it highly enough either. The next game is my most played Switch game to date, and that is Monster Hunter Rise / Sunbreak. It's a little weird. So Monster Hunter Rise released probably 2 years ago. I don't know exactly when this game released. I don't know. I've just played the crap out of it, okay? Okay? I've played Monster Hunter Rise for over 560 hours. This game is fantastic. You pretty much go, you make weapons, you create bigger weapons to hunt bigger monsters. You take the parts from that monster to make an even bigger weapon to go hunt more monsters. It's fantastic. You're fighting dragons. You're fighting lizards. You're fighting freaking lion dragons. It's amazing. But they did more. They did more with this game. They released a DLC. They released the DLC called Sunbreak this year during the summer. It's fantastic. Fantastic. Like I said, it's almost like getting another game. So if you get somebody Monster Hunter Rise, you see it in Walmart, you see it in stores, it's like maybe 30 bucks. Go ahead, get them the Nintendo eShop card and get them the DLC too. The DLC is great. It adds so much to the storyline. They could play for almost as much as me, which is almost 600 hours. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of fun. Go get the game. It's amazing. The next game on my list is Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Now, I never grew up playing Rayman, Raving Rabbids, or any of the stuff that describes Rabbid games. I've never played them before, so this was my first foray into that style of game. And to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised. It's kind of like a strategy game. You kind of move around the map, maneuver your pieces where they need to go. You fight evil Mario characters, Koopas, all kinds of other stuff. It's a lot of fun. I don't know why this game is so much fun. It's got weird little rabbit creatures. They're weird. They have buck teeth. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But it's a ton of fun. I'm glued to the screen whenever I play this game. It's amazing. It's fantastic. The next game on my list is a little bit of an older pick, but not so much. Like, this came out summertime too. If you are a fan of shooters like Call of Duty or anything like that, this is about as close as you're gonna get on the Switch, which is Splatoon 3. Now, I didn't play Splatoon 1 back on the Wii U, and I know a lot of people got into it then, but I heard good things, and so I was like, well, I'll try Splatoon 2, and I got Splatoon 2 like 3 months before the launch of Splatoon 3. Loved it. Loved it. You play online, you essentially go out with 2 teams, one team versus another team, and your whole goal is to paint more of the map than the other team. You can also splat each other and knock each other out, but essentially it was a great process. 2 was fantastic, then 3 got announced. I picked up 3. 3 is even better. They do these things called Splatfest sometimes, and their most recent one is where they took the classic Pokemon starter argument of fire, grass, and water, and you had to pick a team. I chose fire. Because fire's great. Don't question it. But Splatoon 3 is fun. There's a lot of stuff you can do. There's clothing customizations. There's different power-ups and things that you can get. Different weapons. Some of my new favorites is actually the Splatana, which is like it's a windshield wiper, but they call it the Splatana because it's supposed to work like a paint sword. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun playing this game with some buddies of mine. I don't think you'd be disappointed if you picked up this game. The last game on my list has got to be Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is fantastic. I played through the whole thing with my wife. Essentially, you go out as Kirby and you get sucked into a wormhole and you end up somewhere new. And essentially, in classic Kirby fashion, you can eat anything you can see. There's a lot of different things you can do in these games, a lot of different power-ups to collect. And if you're playing with friends, you can be Waddle Dee. It's like some survivor-looking Waddle Dee with like a bandana and a spear. So he just spears everything. He doesn't even eat anything. He's just there for the ride. He's having fun. So if you think you would like that, or if you want to play games with your kids or your teenagers or whoever, it's a lot of fun. I recommend picking it up. But that is my list for all of my Christmas shopping guide for Switch games. If you liked this list, or if this list helped you, I'm trying something new with this. Please let me know. If you've played these games, and if you want to recommend these games to other people, please mention it down in the comments so they can know that I'm not just a crazy person who likes weird Switch games. It's a problem. But I hope this I really hope that this does help. I know when I was a kid, we didn't have a lot of money, and so we couldn't afford all the games. And so if I can recommend a game, because they cost $60, that you buy ahead of another game, hopefully I helped in some way. And I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. And hey, y'all have fun out there, gamers. If you want to know more about games, I also have a TikTok channel, which I will plug up right here, where I do buy this, don't buy that Switch games. If you want a little bit more context for those, there's also a few Switch accessory buying guides that you can go and check out. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season, and best wishes to you and your family. We'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.